All right. KMA tribes, friends, family, students, welcome back. And I'm very excited because today on our podcast, I have the great Lynn, who is Ms. Lynn is a KMA probationary black belt, and she also is well, actually, instead of me saying what you do for a living and stuff, why don't you start out by just telling us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do, please, Lynn?
Yeah, I am a licensed mental health counselor, and I like to tell people I've been helping people with whatever's going on in their life for probably about 26 years now. So I really enjoy it. I find so much joy helping people like get to the next spot in their journey. I even joke around sometimes with people like I feel like my job is to give them the skills they need so they don't need me anymore. So in a lot of ways, I put myself out of business, but there's always someone else that needs me, so it's good.
That's great. That is absolutely great. And tell us a little bit about your personal life. So, so everybody knows what you do as mommy and everything too.
Yes, I have two wonderful kids that are also both probationary black belts. My son Coda, he'll be 13 next month, and he will be testing for his first degree black belt in September. And
Yeah.
then I know, I'm excited. And my daughter Belle is 9 and she tested with me. And so we both got our probationary black belts together and we're planning on getting our first degree black belts in March. And I'm married to my wonderful husband of 14 years and he is very supportive of all of us in this journey. So you will often see him whenever we're testing. So
Yeah, absolutely. And that's so awesome and important. Like, obviously, we love it when the whole family's training together, but when that's not possible, if at least the whole family is bought in, because there is a journey on the way to becoming a
yeah,
confident, competent black belt leader. And you're doing such a great job at that, by the way.
thank
I'm looking
you.
forward to talking about some of the victories and stuff. But my next question is actually just how long have you been training at KMMA?
We started in June of 2020 during the pandemic, so it has been
Wow.
almost 4 years.
Wow.
I know when I think back, I was like, gosh, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but 4 years is a good amount of time. I mean, that's how long it took me to get my bachelor's degree. It's how long it took me to get my master's degree.
I love it.
So,
I
yeah.
love it. I love that, first of all, that you shared with the audience because there'll be somebody in this audience that thinks that 4 years is a long time. But
Hmm.
it's amazing when you're in it, like it just flew by. You didn't even recognize, I can't believe it's been 4 years, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And that's because you're just following the three rules, right? Have fun, do your
Yep.
best, learn something new, and that's great.
Every class. Yep.
That is great. And I also love that you kind of related it to the other aspects of your education, and because I do that often too. And well, in fact, as you know, we break our classes down the same way with freshman and sophomore and junior and
Yeah.
senior level, because I think that all of it is part of preparing kids for that successful academic career, and then of course a successful career.
Yeah.
Um, what do you love most about your training? So speaking first as the student, not as the
Mm,
mom, and then we'll let you talk as the mom. But for you
yeah.
personally, what do you love most about your training experience at KMMA?
I think the biggest thing that stood out to me, and well, there's two things. I'll say two things. From the first class that I went to, I felt such a stress relief. Like it was so good. I mean, everyone knows in June 2020, everything had been shutting down. Things weren't good in the world.
Mm,
So I remember the first time I did the KMMA Combo One, and I felt good. I felt empowered. I felt in control, and it was amazing. But the bigger thing I think throughout my whole journey is the camaraderie in class. I feel like at every single level I've been at, I've had peers and people above me that are like pulling me up,
mm,
that believe in me, that um, aren't annoyed with my questions because I like to like visualize and break it down, and they're willing to do that. They're willing to help me. And they believe in me. And I love that about our tribe. It really is a tribe. So,
love that. So
yeah.
well said. Thank you. What would you consider the biggest benefits that you've personally gained through training?
Mm. Definitely my fitness. I've been able to lose weight along the way, but I will tell you, watching my son do his black belt test in September really kicked my butt into gear. And I had already made changes, but I made like bigger changes because I was like, if I don't lose weight, I will not be able to do this test. I need to do this. So I changed things, and in that 6 month period, I lost 30 pounds and I'm still losing weight. Yeah, since last month I've lost another 5. Like I'm still doing the same
Ah,
thing. So,
it's great.
um, yeah, and I know that it is because I mean, and Krav is such an important part of my training because I do get to classes twice a week, and I do practice at home with my kids, and I especially, even just sitting waiting for coffee to be made or something like that, I'm sitting there like doing kickboxing sets in the air, like just little things like that that make a difference. Oh, and another thing, this was a more recent thing. Sensei Thomas is like, you got to be moving. Like whatever you're doing, you don't need to be just standing. If you're standing in line at the grocery store, you can be moving. So I'm often just like going back and forth on my feet. Just people probably think I'm weird out in public, but I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna be moving. I'm just gonna move.
I love it.
So
I love it.
yeah.
So what about the same two questions for your kids? Like now
Mm.
in the perspective as a mother, what do you love about the program, and what are you think are the biggest benefits that they have gained through training?
Um, oh gosh, that there's so I feel like there's more for my kids. And I think because I'm a mom, I'm more focused on them. Um, I know it has always been a fear of mine growing with my kids growing up. So just back up just a second. For about 16 years of my life, I worked in the foster care system, and I
No.
worked with children that had been traumatized and children that bad things had happened to. And I had to go to a lot of trainings, a lot of them on sex trafficking. And
Mm.
I was scared to death when I had my daughter. And
Yeah.
when I had my son, I was like, I know the reality of this in Florida. And my daughter, if you've met my daughter, she doesn't know a stranger. She's been like that since day one. Like she's very
Yeah.
engaging with her smile. At the hospital, everyone was like all about her. And so every time we would go to the playground, I'd be so scared. I couldn't relax. I had to always have my eyes on her. If I lost her for 5 seconds, I was afraid someone took her. But that all changed when we started to learn Krav. And I would hold the pads for her, and she would know what to do. And I'd be like, wow, no one is going to hurt my kids.
Oh,
Like
that's
Coda
awesome.
caught on like that. Belle was a little slower because she's younger, but I feel so much more confident out in public now that she knows that she knows to be loud. She knows where to hit you if you if someone's going to try to grab her. I feel sorry for her for them. Um, in fact, at one point, she was playing around with my husband. They were like doing stuff at the grocery store, like scaring each other. And he made the mistake of coming up from behind. And my daughter immediately, like her hand went down, like she wasn't getting choked from the back, but that was her instinct. And her hand went down and hit my husband in the groin. And he was hurt. He stopped. He started to get upset. And I stopped him. I was like, you cannot get upset with her for that. This is why we train her.
That's
Like
awesome.
she's not going to be messed with. And the same with my son. So that right there was a huge thing as a parent. Beyond that, also anyone who knows my daughter, she's had a hard time focusing in class from the beginning. Um, and it really wasn't until the last year that that started to change. It was, and like I said, she's 9 now. She turned 9 in October. And I think that was a crucial time for her. But the patience of the sensei were tested. And they lived up to that challenge every time. They always were consistent with her. And I can tell you now, like on Monday nights, the class is late. It's past her bedtime, and it was hard at first, but now she stays focused. She stays engaged. She is in it. And I think that is huge. And then for both of my kids, the confidence that they've gained,
Mm,
the ability to, honestly, the ability to talk to adults. Like this goes back to the camaraderie in the tribe.
mm,
Like different adults coming up and talking to them and asking them about what's going on, following up with them about questions. So they're getting used to talking with adults and they're not scared of that. And so it really builds their confidence. And they know how to do all of what we're learning. So that also builds their confidence. So I might have gone long on that question, but I just feel
no,
the benefits for the kids is amazing.
that is
So
that is so great. Thank you for sharing all of that. When that, and I, I've been blessed to watch your kids grow here as well.
yeah.
And yeah, I have also noticed that the difference recently, and it's very often the case, right? Like I try
Hmm.
to, because of course, at the same time as I see your kids now getting to that point, of course, there are other 4-year-old, 3-year-old kids that are sitting around that where the parents are on the, pulling their hair. And I try to
Yeah.
explain that, look, it's the law of the process. If you give it time, you're going to be
Yeah.
so impressed with what you see. So to hear you talk about all of that, I think it was great. The self-defense, the focus and the confidence, and the fact that all of that just happens over time, right?
Hmm.
Like you said,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, I love it. Um, if you were to go back and give advice to the white belt version of yourself, what would that be?
Um, I think the biggest thing was it would be to take my weight loss journey seriously more
Mm,
at the beginning. Because I mean, in a lot of ways, um, the weight loss is like training. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not like in 2 weeks I'm going to lose 50 pounds.
mm,
It is something that happens over time. It's the consistency, which is also like it is with the training. And I think that would be the one thing I would change. And I will tell everyone this, just don't quit. And I will tell you when I was doing my black belt test, I just kept that mantra going on in my head the whole time. Just don't stop. Don't quit. Keep going. You're not done. Until they say you're done, you're not done. Keep going. Like that was going through my head the whole however long. I refuse to look at the clock too, even though it's that huge thing in the back of the room. I don't even know how long we were testing. I just was not going to stop until someone said we were done. So don't quit.
it was about 3.5 hours, by the way. But you know, um, the that is awesome, and I love it so much because I mean, number one, yeah, the fact you probably know there were probably some people wondering if you were going to make it through that,
Oh, I
and
know. Yeah.
and it was so cool to see the way that they embraced you and how excited for you they were when you had that victory. And I think how I always talk about that the lessons of the dojo have to go out of the dojo and into the world.
Hmm.
And I think what a great lesson for whatever we're going through in life, right?
Yeah.
Whatever is the next challenge, the next pandemic, the next, whatever it is, it's still 10% what happens and 90% how we react to it. But two,
Hmm.
what you said, just don't quit. Just don't
Hmm.
quit. Keep going. And the next thing you know, you have success. That's so great. Thank you for sharing that. If you what if you have you if you happen to have, would you also have advice for someone that's kind of on the fence, just been considering joining and hasn't yet?
Oh, um, you know what? I, I would say just try it. What do you have to lose? I mean, that's kind of the mindset that got me in this. I don't even know. I know I mentioned it in my black belt speech, so you might have forgotten before that, but initially when I called to schedule for my kids to do it, I didn't think it was for me. I really thought I was just scheduling for my kids. And after we scheduled everything, you just casually said, "And will you be joining?" Or and I was like, and I know that I paused because I was like, why are you asking me this? Like, have you seen me? I am overweight. I do not like to sweat. Um, but you had said, what do you have to lose? I mean, the fact was I was driving them there anyway. I was going to sit on the side and watch them anyway. So the time to dedicate to the training, I already was dedicating for my kids. So why not do the same for me? And I was like, you know what? I'll just try it. The worst case is I don't like it and I don't do it. Which is actually what happened with my husband, but it wasn't for me. I as soon as I tried it, I knew I loved it. I mean, my husband even told me after the first two sessions, he's like, I've never seen you so happy. You're so happy doing this. You have to keep doing this. But I wouldn't have known that if I didn't try. And I think that that just is the way life is. Sometimes things don't seem like they're right, but what do you have to lose? I mean, try it. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it anymore. Same with food. Like if you don't like the food, don't eat it anymore. A
Right.
place that you go, if you don't like where you went, don't go there anymore. But you
Yeah.
don't know that until you try it. So just try.
First of all, I think that's amazing advice, even just on the surface level of what you said, right? Like just try it. What do you got to lose, right? And but also I think that you're leading the way, and because you've been so transparent in the talk, that you could be leading somebody else that just is maybe fearful that they can't do it, is fearful that
Oh,
they're,
yeah.
I mean, to hear you say, you know, to hear you transparently say, "Have you seen me?" Da, 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 and that somebody else is thinking that, right? And now you just
Yeah.
tested for your probationary black belt, and you're on the year to your certified black belt. And I
Yeah.
know when you go for that one, you're going to be in the best shape of your life,
I will be.
mentally, physically, emotionally. It's going to be it's going to be amazing. And but the point of the story is you had the courage. You had the courage to say, "I'm going to try this," and then you had the courage to say, "Okay, this is going to be a little harder for me, but I'm going to do it." And then you had the courage to say, just don't quit, just don't quit, just don't quit. And, and man, that's probably the next question. And
Yeah.
now that you had that courage all those times, how does that make you feel?
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna tear up thinking about it. Like I feel so good. Like, sorry, let me just take a second.
Okay, you're
Um,
making me cry too.
when I finished the black belt test, like I said, I didn't I was not gonna stop until someone told me to stop. Like every time there was a break, I didn't assume we were done. I just assumed I was just like, let me grab some water before you tell me what to do next. Um, and Sensei Ali came up to me and she gave me a hug and I was confused. I legit was why is she hugging me? What is going on? And she said, "You did it." And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "It's over. You're done. We finished." And I was like, "What?" And I just started crying because I was like, "I did it. I did it. I finished. I didn't stop. I didn't quit. I did it." And then of course there was a bunch of other hugs for other people that were also testing. But it really wasn't until you had us do the sign of the warrior and the sign of the scholar and allowed all of us to actually do it completely that I knew that I actually had earned my black belt. And I earned that. Like that was all guts that were left in the floor that day. I gave my all and I earned it. And that's how I feel so empowered. I feel so joyful. I feel so blessed. I'm so grateful for everyone who helped me along the way and didn't let me give up um and just cheered me on. I just I I just feel so good. There's not many things in this world that you can earn by working so hard. Like I got my bachelor's degree, I got my master's degree, I got my license in mental health counseling, but that black belt, I feel like I worked harder for than any of those other things. And it means more to me.
Wow. Wow. I'm so proud of and grateful for you, Lynn. And I got to tell you, I've had a lot of great speakers on here for a lot of great interviews. Um, but that you sharing so transparently and emotionally and is just this is one of the most powerful ones we've ever had. And I think that that's amazing. It's interesting because it ties. Remember at the beginning before we were on camera, I said, "Hey, let me pull up my questions," and you said, "Well, I didn't get any questions, so I haven't prepared anything." And I said, "Well, that's okay. I like it that way because I like it to just be from the heart."
Hmm.
And wow. This is why. I mean, what a great, you have been amazing. So in fact, the only last thing I'm going to ask is there anything else you would like to share before we call this awesome podcast a wrap?
Um, the only thing, like if you're watching this and you're a parent of one of the students and you haven't taken that step onto the floor to start your journey, I just want to urge you to do it because like I said earlier, you're already driving your kids there. You're already sitting there watching them and spending that time. You probably already know most of the stuff you're about to learn because you've been watching your kids do it and taking pictures and videos and celebrating them at each belt rank that they've gotten. So it's not too late to start. I'll be transparent again. Like 4 years ago, you said it was going to take 4 years, and I did the math. It wasn't that hard. 4 years isn't that long, but I'm turning 50 this year. And I was like, I am giving this as a gift to myself. This is my
Mm.
gift to myself. And I just want to urge you to do the same. This is not just a kids program. This is a family atmosphere program. The training is meant for adults and kids, and you will benefit from it. So,
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you for all the great advice and the sincere, answers. We are so proud of and grateful for you and your whole family. And I'm very excited for you on the rest of your journey
yes.
to Black Belt leader and beyond. You are, you're a model student. I think again, I'm proud of all of my students, but
Hmm.
when it's hard for any student for any reason, and they have the grit and perseverance and stick to itiveness to keep at it anyway. There's a special place in my heart for that. And and for adults, it might be the things you've talked about. For kids, again, it's very often focus, the ability to control themselves,
Hmm.
and but whatever it is, then on the other side, it's why I get so many what do they call it? The feels, the tingle
Yeah. Yeah.
about getting to do what we get to do for a living because we get to make a difference in people's lives. Thank you for being a part of all of that, and
Thank you.
thank you for the amazing podcast today. And we'll look forward to your next black belt class at KMMA.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.